Hi learners, is glad to see you in Krishna's space. Today is the day 87 of our 300 days DSA journey. So it's time for our today's problem. Let's understand it. So today's problem is set mismatch. Here we have given a set of integers called s, which originally contains all the numbers from 1 to n. Unfortunately, due to some error, one of the numbers in S got duplicated to another number in the set, which results in repetition of one number and a loss of another number. Here we have given an integer array called nums, which is representing the data status of this set after the error. So here we need to find the number that occurs twice and the number that is missing and return them in the form of an array. So now let's understand it with the help of examples. So as we can see in the example 1, we have given an array and in that we have 4 elements. So that means the number we will get will be from 1 to 4 only. And in the output they have returned 2 and 3, in which 2 is the repeated number and 3 is the missing number. Same in example 2, we have given an array and in the output they have written 1 and 2, where 1 is the repeated number and 2 is the missing number. So now let's understand how we are going to solve this problem. So I have solved this problem with the help of indexing. Here basically we have given that in our array we are going to have the numbers from 1 to n. That means if we want to find the index of a particular number, we just need to decrement it by 1. So let's say if we are going to take the number 1, so its index will be 0. If we are going to take the number 2, so its index will be 1. Same if we are going to take the number n, its index will be n minus 1. So now we got the relationship between the number and its index. So now what we are going to do is that if we have seen a particular number, so we are going to make the number negative which is present at its particular index. So let's say if we have seen the number 1, so that means we are going to make the number negative which is present at 0th index. What is basically happening here is this negative number is telling that we have already seen the number 1. So if we are going to see the 1 number again, it will going to be our duplicate number, because at that particular index we have already a negative number. So that's how we are basically getting the duplicate number. And after having all the numbers negative at a particular index, we are going to see that particular index in which we have a positive number. If we have find that particular index, that means the missing value will be the index plus 1. So now let's understand it with the help of example 1. So as you can see in my code, the first thing that I have done is to create two variables, duplicate and missing, in which currently the value is minus 1. Thereafter I have run a loop, and in the loop the first thing that I am doing is to find the indexes. So in the first run I am going to have the value of I as 1. So my index will be 1 minus 1 0. Thereafter I am going to check if the value at nums of 0 is negative or not. And we know it's not negative, so we will get into the else block and going to make the number negative which is present at nums of 0 by multiplying it minus 1. So now at nums of 0 we have the value minus 1. In the second run we are going to have 2 and my index value will be 2 minus 1 1. And we are going to see if nums of 1 is negative or not. And we know it's not negative, so again we will get into the else block, and now at nums of 1 we are going to have minus 2. In the next run again we are getting 2 and now the index will be again 1. So we are going to see if at nums of 1 we have negative number or not. And we know at nums of 1 we have minus 2 which is negative number. So that means our I, which is 2, is a duplicate number. So now we got our duplicate number. So we will going to move forward, and in the next run we are going to have 4 and its index will be 3. Again we are going to check at nums of 3 we have negative number or not, and we know we don't have negative number at nums of 3. So we are going to get into else block, and now at nums of 3 we have minus 4. Thereafter, we are going to come out from this loop because we have already traversed through the whole array. And after that, we are going to run a loop again. And in that, we are going to take the numbers from 0 to length of nums minus 1. Now, inside the loop, I'm going to see if we are going to have any number which is greater than 0 in my whole array. So in the first run, we are going to have the value I as 0. So at nums of 0, we have minus 1, which we know it is not greater than 0. So we will move forward. In the second run, we are going to have I as 1. So at nums of 1, we know we have minus 2, which is not greater than 0. So again we will move forward. And in the next run, we are going to have I as a 2. And we know at nums of 2, we have the value 2. Because in the previous loop, when we got the number 2 again, we didn't make it as a negative. We just put that particular number into our duplicate. So now at nums of 2, we have the value 2, which is greater than 0. And now we will get inside the if block, and we are going to have our missing number, which is I plus 1, basically 2 plus 1, 3. Because at index 2, we should have the number 3. Because the index of 3 will be 2, which we have already calculated before. So after having the missing value, we will move forward, and in the next run we are going to have I as 3, and we know at nums of 3 we are having minus 4, which is not greater than 0. So we will going to move forward, and as we have got all the values of I, we are going to come out from this loop and going to return the duplicate and missing value, which is 2 and 3 in the array. So that's how I have solved this problem. If you guys have any other solution of it, do write it on comment, and thank you so much for watching this video and staying with me.